So, welcome everybody. I'm Kristen Poborsky, and today I have one of my favorite fellow ChatGPT geeks here with me, Rachel Havland, and we are here to have a conversation around how to use ChatGPT AI to help you create better content. So, you're going to want to listen in because we've got all kinds of tips and based on our own experiences and working with clients and students on really how to create unique your own voice, not someone else's content, but elevate it using copywriting techniques so that you really become a master at copywriting and persuasion and all kinds of things in your content. So, Rachel, I am so excited to have you here today. We always geek out after any of our sessions
We do.
about AI, and I'm like, we just have to get together and share what we both do and give tips to people. And that's the whole point here, so that we can spread the word about really what we've discovered is a really powerful way to use ChatGPT and AI to create content that is really in your own voice. So let's start this out by having you introduce yourself to my audience so that they know who you are and get a feeling of what you do, because Rachel comes from it at a little bit different perspective than I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's an honor to be here, and I'm so excited to be here, and to have this invitation because you and I have had so much fun experimenting with AI and testing it out and seeing what it could do. And basically, we're here to share our
Yes,
excitement.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
So yeah, I'm a recovering scientist. I come from a scientific research background and data analysis background. I spent 19 years in cancer research, both in England and here. And then I started to ask, well, why aren't we teaching people how to be healthier? And that's how I got into marketing. For the past 15 years, I've been a business and marketing consultant, using that background, but now really, really enjoying AI, and enjoying how much that makes our lives easier. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what I've seen is over the years, I've a lot of coaches and consultants and client and small businesses that I've worked with. They really struggle with creating content, whether it's their website or whether it's their social media content is a big struggle for them. And as you'll hear today, AI
Yeah.
can make your life a lot easier. I hope you can feel my excitement because that it's just been growing over the last few years. I mean, I look back to, probably like the early days of AI for me, 6 years ago or so, looking at chatbots, and chatbots are everywhere now. When you first mentioned them, people were like, I have no idea what that is. So when I did a presentation on chatbots for patient experience in healthcare 5 years ago for the Mayo Clinic Social Media Network conference, the room was packed because nobody had any idea what they really were, what you could do with them, and really what was possible. So that was kind of my first introduction to AI, and then it's just kind of grown from there, really.
Exactly. I think that was probably, now that I'm thinking back about it, is that, a lot of content creators, a lot of coaches, healers, we've all heard about those chatbots. Those have been around for a while. And really, that was kind of the, for marketers, the beginning. So,
In terms of consumer awareness,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
they've been that longer than that, because I am in a group where they are scientists, and then now they've built this AI place where you can go and learn all this AI stuff and apply it to business and marketing and automation and things like that. So but Rachel, you were really, then I just want to back up. So you were doing copywriting, right, for your clients? Is that where you started? Where did you find your niche then? Because you are a copywriter, right? Or do you do more marketing?
Yeah, so what I've really focused on over the last 15 years is focusing primarily on marketing strategy.
Yeah.
And then I started with website building. So yes, I had to do copywriting for that.
Oh
Yeah, so
yeah.
I've been building websites for 15 years, a long time, just
Yeah.
like you have.
Yeah.
And we've seen so many changes. And then most of us got into business because we wanted the freedom, the time, and the money to do the things that we enjoy.
Yes.
Um, what I see is that when people, start a business, become a health coach, become a consultant, they they unless they have a background in marketing and business, they really don't have any idea what it takes to run a
Yeah.
business or to do the marketing, and they don't realize how much they need to know and how much they need to learn. As the saying goes, they're wearing all the hats.
Yes.
They
Yes.
have to do everything for their business, and it's just completely overwhelming. And that freedom, time, and money seems somewhere off in the distance for them, which is a real shame, because and one of the things now is that with AI, you can really start to embrace that freedom again, because it can save you so much time, it can save you money. And I know that there are fears.
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of listeners are afraid of AI. Some of the stuff we've been talking about it can be a little intimidating, especially when it comes to the technology. The good thing about AI these days is that you don't have to be, an IT nerd or a computer whiz or anything like that. Kristen and I are not. But there are ways that you can use AI, and the platforms have become, fairly simple to use. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that they're actually using AI every day, most likely, and
Yeah.
they have no clue. It's hidden.
It's
I mean,
everywhere. It's everywhere
yeah,
right now. Even this recording, it'll get a transcription all of a sudden now because we're recording on Zoom. It will automatically do a transcription of that. Now, it wasn't doing that a few months ago, but everywhere, anything
it
now
is,
is
yeah, it is.
transcript.
Absolutely, it's being introduced into a lot of the software that you use, but it's also hidden in a lot of the software that you already use.
Yeah.
If you sit down and watch Netflix, how do you think it's suggesting to you the next movie that you want to watch?
Yep.
Because it knows
Amazon,
it
Amazon.
it's yeah, Amazon Prime, everything like that. Even the iPhone facial recognition. What do you think is controlling Alexa and Siri when you ask it for help? So you are already using AI. It's not something to be scared of. And everything that we're going to talk about today, if you can use a smartphone and you can use email software, you can use AI. So
Yeah.
I really want to get over that at the first thing is don't be afraid of it. You can't break it. You can't mess it up. So
Yeah.
I would definitely encourage you to play with it.
Exactly. Well, I have to say that, for, the AI part of it, the chat GPT, I really started hearing about it a year ago. And then I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm waiting. Like, am I going to do this? At first I said no. And then I really started paying attention to what, certain people and how they were saying to use it. And then my mind just went, whoa, because I'm a content creator. I teach content creation. I know one of the biggest things that my audience stumbles with is that time that
Absolutely.
it goes into it. I'm always looking at ways to make things easier, do it better, do it faster, especially around content creation. And the other thing is that it is really hard for people to master messaging and copywriting frameworks and become a better copywriter. And now with AI, you can do all of that if you have the right prompts and you're using the right methods. So let's kind of dive into your philosophy around using AI. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
just chime in because I think you and we've talked about this many times. So
Yeah,
I'm going to let you be the spokesperson because I know I agree with you.
we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Well, I think firstly, going back to the fear of using AI. Should I, shouldn't I? You said that you felt it when you first heard about
Yeah.
ChatGPT, and you were like, no, I'm not going to use it. For me, I was like, ooh, what's this? How is this going to help me? But I do understand that fear that people feel. And one of the questions that you have, people will ask is, do we have to use it? Do we have to? And I know it feels like one more thing to add to your plate for a start, but these, especially the processes that Kristen can lead you through, it leads you through it so simply that it will work for you. You can't break it, and you will actually find out how much fun it is. But the important thing to remember, I think, people are asking, oh, will this take away my job? Coaches sometimes ask it in the terms of, oh, will generative AI be able to coach better than me? I don't think that's the issue. No, it won't. Your clients will always need that human touch. But what could happen is that another coach, some young upstart who has just graduated with their health coach certificate, could very, very quickly, outrank you on Google. They could beat you in terms of content creation because they are embracing AI and they are used to technology. So yeah. I don't think, yes, you can, continue running your business if you want to, networking in real life. And there is definitely value to that, getting speaking gigs, and actually meeting people in person and creating relationships. But I think one of the challenges, if you don't look at this, is how many people around you who are also coaches and consultants and course creators are going to beat you out because they're using AI and you're not. And they can simply create more content faster, get it out to more people, and people just won't be able to find you.
Right. And that's the thing, is it's like, it's not just creating massive amounts of content either. It's like a way of getting your message out into the world, right? With more content. So we're not just talking about creating generic content around keywords and things like that. You still have to infuse it with your voice and your methods. And there's some messaging pieces that have to go into that AI can't replicate. So that's where I really look at AI as my copywriting assistant, taking my stuff, making it better, rewording it, including copywriting frameworks, things like that. But the messaging and human touch, because you have to always edit. And we've talked about that, right? But what it really does is cuts down the time, any kind of block you might have around creating content. So you want to, create content, it can come up with a fast outline for you. I do this all the time. I ask it to give me an outline for a piece of topic. I'm just going to tell you what my 12X method is. I say, here, give me an outline on this topic, then ask me, give me 3 questions I can answer. And then I go and create this piece of content that's really 4 pieces of content in one. It takes me less than 20 minutes. Now it only, to get from idea to words to film, because I don't use it. And then I create the content based on that outline. And what's really cool about AI is that sometimes it'll come up with ideas that I hadn't even thought about, because I used to go and research what I was going to write about. I don't do that anymore. I use AI to do the research, and then I use it. I never tell it to give me a full script, but I tell it, and then I put my own words into it. And then that's how I take it from generic to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one thing I was going to bring up when you were saying, you can ask it to provide an outline for you. People get stuck at the stage before that. What am I going to write about?
Yes.
So you can start off, just with the basics of AI, just asking it for ideas. Well, actually, even a step before that, you can actually use ChatGPT to help you get to know your niche and your ideal client even better. And do that market research. What are their fears? What are their challenges? What are their desires? What are their goals? And Kristen has a brilliant way to allow you to do that very simply. And it saves you, it saves you years of talking to people. What are their questions? What do they, what do they need to know? What
Yeah.
are they struggling with? And it can get you started immediately today with, okay, if these are the people that you want to work with, here's what they're struggling with. And it can give you ideas immediately. And
And
you
that
can
should be
go
your
on
content right there.
and you can
Yeah,
go on from
years
there.
with
Exactly.
a year's worth of content just from doing the research and knowing what they're struggling with, what their fears are, even their hopes, dreams, and desires. That could be, and then you could just take that and create, a never-ending list of topics
Yeah, and
on your subject.
if you're not sure, ask ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Okay, based on these fears, challenges, and goals, what are some topics that I could talk about? Okay, I like the idea of this topic. Can you give me some bullet points to talk about? Just as Kristen said,
Yeah.
and there's so much that it can do for you. It can give you bullet points. It can write an entire blog post. Like I said, don't use it, straight away. You've got to use that human touch on it, and
Yep.
and you've got to use that. The one of the things that I found has been the greatest difference is actually priming ChatGPT to sound like me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so a lot of people are like, well, how do I write a prompt? They get stuck there. Anyway, you see, 50 ChatGPT prompts or 150
Don't buy
ChatGPT prompts.
those.
Yeah, definitely don't buy them. But most of the time, they're not worth the paper or the Word document that they're written in. If you see anything where it's just a very simple one-line question or a one-line prompt, it's just not enough. You
Nope.
have to actually go in, tell ChatGPT who you are, what you do, how you help people, and then prime it with the kind of content from your website if you have one, or or from your head if you're just starting out, as to what is your business all about and who are you. You have to
Yep.
tell it that
Yeah.
first before you go ask it something in a prompt. And you'll get a much better result if you do. You'll see that if you just use any of these one sentence prompts or questions, you'll just get very, very generic results,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you'll be very disappointed. And yes, you do need that human touch. So anything that it puts out, you need to check that it's accurate for a start.
Yeah.
Especially for your industry, it can hallucinate and make stuff up. So
Oh, yeah. And it can
yeah.
sound pretty weird sometimes too. Chat GPT, like it can get very, someone said the other day, bro marketing or jargony, I like to put,
Yes.
and you do need to temper it down sometimes and ask it. I call it kind of my drill down method, and that I will get content back from it. And I'm like, ugh. But I don't just I will actually manipulate, have a conversation back and forth with Chat GPT to get at the content. So it's closer to how I sound.
Yes.
So like when you say, don't go with the simple, don't just go with one answer, go in and play with it and keep drilling down and asking it to do this and that with what it's already done to get even
Yeah.
better content that you can produce.
Absolutely. And I know people are worried about losing their creativity. Oh, if I just use ChatGPT or these different AIs, won't I just lose my creativity? That's where you come in. It's just creating a foundational content, something for you to start with, so that you're not, it's the classic situation in a movie where the poor struggling writer is sitting at their computer with a blank page and they don't know what to write. You don't have to do that anymore, but you also don't have to let it take over and create everything for you. Let
Oh,
it
yeah.
create the foundation of whatever content it is that you want, and then come into it and infuse it with your own creativity. Make sure it's accurate, make sure it's not biased, and edit it enough so that you don't have to worry about any copyright issues or anything like that. And you'll achieve much better content from there, and it
Right.
will feel much more like you. It's a tool, it's an assistant, as Kristen
Yeah.
said,
Yep.
to
Yep.
your content creation process. It's not designed to be the be all end all.
No, so let me give you an example. So I have a long-standing client that I've been working with for, gosh, 11 years. So he and I have seen everything together, and I've blown his mind away showing him what ChatGPT can do. So normally when we create a piece of content, he's been creating video since 2014. It's phenomenal. If you're, listen to this and you're not creating video content, I hope I can change your mind, because this is what we do. We take his video, and he said to me on Monday, he goes, I loved that email that you wrote to my list last week. That was one of the best. And he goes, I know you use ChatGPT, but I also know that you go in and edit it, because I can tell, right? So what we do, I'm just going to explain the process, how we got there, is that he films a video. We take that transcript and we use a prompt process to take that transcript and create more content from it. And I tell it to write a video, email. I give it the structure, how I want to do it. And again, this is an example of not just a plain prompt. I would never say, take the transcript and write an email. I give it instructions of how I want it formatted, how I want the voice and tone to be, and who it's from, and things like that.
And what it's for. Because if you think about it, if you just tell ChatGPT to, here's some content, create an email, it's just going to go off and do something. You'll be like, oh, actually, that wasn't what I meant.
Yeah. So
and that's where you have to be more specific about, okay, I want to create an email for this upcoming event to invite people to come to the event, for example, which is very different to a reminder email for the event.
Right. So the more specific you are, and the more stuff you layer in there. And sometimes I'll go through a couple iterations of that email to get it. Because sometimes it's just like, can't you just use plain English? Sometimes I end up pulling it back and asking it to use plain English, because I'll tell it, who it is right before it does it. And I still take that email. So I'll play around with it, get a few versions until I get comfortable with a version that I like. And then I will go in and plug it into his email provider. And then I edit it once again there. And I know that this is something we've talked about too, about doing an editing, walking away, and then coming back and editing anything that gives to you again. So that's my process. And I find, like we said, the more details I give it, the way I want it to structure it, it does a much better job. But this whole thing of going from video to ChatGPT to output has really revolutionized how I create content, and actually how I run my business and run my team. Because now I just used to do the long way of an SOP, and now I just do the video and have the SOP and the Asana instructions done from the video.
Right.
There's so many uses for this, but again, it's that video thing. If you can create video, you've got an edge over anybody, because it's going to be using your voice. It's not someone else's content. It's yours, unless you're reading a script that you use ChatGPT to do. And I don't suggest that. So it's
getting it to write a script for you is a good start if you really have no idea what to say.
Yes.
For example, you said earlier, what are 3 things that I could talk about on this topic? That's a great place to start. But infuse it with your own humanity.
Yeah, and then you
voice.
Take that and create more content.
Yeah, because when you're doing video, it has to be your personality. If you're going to get AI to just write a script for you and you're just going to read it like this, then it's not going to sound like you at all, and you might even end up rather monotone and nobody wants to listen or watch you.
And that's the same thing for shorts. So I'm going to just iterate in here. I've tested almost anything here. I've used Opus Clip, I think it is. It'll take your longer video.
Love Opus.
But you know what? Those don't do as well as when I just sit down and film my own short video under 1 minute.
True. But it is a much faster. So Opus will take your video and pull out what it thinks are clips, short clips and sound bites for you that you can use in shorts. Yes, again, the human touch is always better, but if you're short for time,
Yeah.
and you need to create some shorts, it's better than nothing. However, you still have to have that human touch, because it may include the end of the last sentence at the beginning of the video and then cut you off at the end, or go into the next sentence. So you might need to edit it a little bit. None of this is perfect,
Right.
but there are, yeah, I don't see AI as the be all end all, as I said, but
No.
it is a way to speed things up, and save you time. Absolutely.
Exactly. So, what we want you to walk away with from this conversation is to embrace using AI and ChatGPT, but don't rely on, these little big huge packets of prompts unless you could take them and then expand on them. But one sentence prompts really don't work. You need to, do a lot more than that. When you're telling it to, so the more instructions you're going to give it, the better your output you can get. And there's a lot of people teaching how to do this. I'm not the only one. Rachel's not the only one, but there's a lot of really good resources out there where you can learn that kind of stuff from. Copywriters now are using this a lot to speed up the time it takes them to create copy. And people are wondering, well, is it still, why would I hire one? Because they still infuse it with their knowledge and manipulate it and make it better. And they've got all that knowledge of how to be a copywriter and things that they know that the average person doesn't know how to do, right? But that being
Yeah, those years of experience still have immense value,
right.
in taking something that something generic that ChatGPT or another AI puts out, and then actually making something that is actually going to achieve results for you in terms of copywriting. Definitely.
Right. Yes.
But it can feel very overwhelming for people. They're like, okay, this is great, it's going to save me time, I just feel completely overwhelmed. I have no idea where to start.
Right.
And I don't let that stop you. Think of this as something that you can play with and that you can have fun with, and that will make your life easier. Take a look at, okay, what is the customer journey that my clients go through before they come to me, and even all the way through to sales and delivery of your services, and retention afterwards, and look for some bottlenecks in your content marketing. Where is it that you're hitting a bottleneck that is taking up a lot of time, whether it's writing that email nurturing sequence that you've been meaning to write for new clients, to welcome them and nurture them once they've signed up with you, and you just haven't got around to doing it. You could get that done very quickly now.
Oh,
And
yes.
the wonderful thing about the work that Kristen does is that she writes the prompts for you, and they are easy to edit for your needs. So you don't need to get stuck on that. You don't need to think, oh gosh, okay, I'm going into ChatGPT, what am I going to write? Kristen's systems walk you through that.
Okay.
And then really think of, particular use cases. For example, the nurturing email sequence. Maybe you have a podcast that you want to produce, and you're like, I don't have a team to produce that. How on earth am I going to do this? I need some kind of, maybe not a script, but some kind of outline of a script, or some ideas for some questions that I'm going to ask a guest. You can ask ChatGPT. Once you've recorded it, you can transcribe it, you can edit it using AI. Everything is so much faster now. AI can write your show notes for you. It can write the descriptions. So you really need to pick a use case that you're going to try. What is taking up a lot of time in your content creation, and then start looking at, okay, I want to do this. What possible tools could I use? And start exploring, what tools are available. Have a think about, what those tools need to do for you in terms of, editing or creating copy, and have a look at what's available, and then just try some out, and test them out, and optimize them. You don't have to stick with one. In this conversation, there's really no point in us recommending particular tools at this point, because the industry is moving so quickly, and new tools are coming out every day. So if you listen to this in 3 months, 6 months, if we start talking about particular tools now, there might be better ones by the time you hear this episode. So I would just say, if I'm like, okay, I need a tool for this, just Google it.
Yeah.
Google will tell you the different tools that are available, and then you can go out and just try some. And just remember, you can't break it.
No, you can't. And I'm going to just add one thing in here. So my target market is really women over, and I've got a few men too, but over the age of 50. And actually, I'm going to say that most of my clients and my students are probably, I mean, I've got some that are, in the 50 range and younger, but the majority, like, of ones that I talk to all the time, they're like in the 60 to 70. Yes, there's a lot of people out there in that age range. And I'll tell you, they are so, if they can learn ChatGPT and get so excited and like run with it,
That's so true.
anybody can, because I'm the gal who taught people how to use computers way back when, before, when they were first getting introduced in business, and I was teaching then, and people would walk out of my classes saying, I'm never going to use a computer, ha ha ha. Now, how many years later, I'm not going to age myself, but that was a long time ago. And now it's like that's gone, and people are just so now like excited to embrace something new. And this is low barrier. Anybody can learn ChatGPT. It's not like when we used to code HTML and things like that. Although I have had ChatGPT generate HTML code for a website because I needed to get some links in there, and it did it super fast. So it took a long task, and I could just, have it do all of that. But it's just something that is for content creators is a game changer.
It really is. It really is. I mean, can you imagine, not using, a washing machine these days, or a vacuum, or anything like that, or anything that saves us time? You just have to learn how to use it. You just have to learn which buttons to push and how it does what. And I
Yep.
love to see that excitement. I totally agree. 71-year-old client, 72-year-old client, just overjoyed at being introduced to ChatGPT, learning to use it, and just saying, wow, this is amazing, this is so much fun. And if they can do it, you can do it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just as Kristen said, we can produce content for them. I had a client who does a monthly event, and the first time I showed her what ChatGPT had created in terms of the title for the event, the description for the event, the email invite, and the copy for the registration page where they signed up, she was just blown away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just totally excited.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah. So there's just so many more things that we can talk about, specific use cases for it. So maybe we'll have to get back together and dive in on specific topics and things that we've used it for, so that we can educate people all the different ways that that our listeners can, use ChatGPT and AI to help them, build their business and do all their marketing pieces. Before, I'm going to give Rachel an opportunity here to let you guys know where you can find out more about her and all of that. But I just wanted to let you know before I hand over the mic again to her, is that I've got the Content Creators Guide to AI. And inside that guide, I got the link right down below. It goes over a lot, all of the points, most of the points, that we've talked here today about how to use AI the right way. So you might, if you're new to AI, or considering it, or you've used it for a while and you're a content creator, you want to grab that. But I'm sure that Rachel has some other resources, and we want to just share with you guys how you can find her as well. So I'm going to hand this over to you now.
Well, thank you so much, Kristen. I appreciate it. Such a great discussion, and I really hope that you can all feel our excitement about this, and think about actually trying it for yourself. So, just to kind of wrap up, really, that you can get started with AI easily and quickly. You can get it to sound like you. You can still use your creativity, and using the priming about who you are, who you help, what you do, will absolutely give you better results than just using any generic ChatGPT prompts, or any prompts for any of the any of the AIs that are available, just make it customized to you, and just don't give up on that human aspect of bringing your personality, your tone of voice
Oh yeah,
into it, and just use it as an assistant to help you.
exactly.
So yeah, if you want to find out more about me, you can find me at the Health Marketing Academy. That's all about launching, growing, and scaling your health coaching practice online. As we talked about, we all want that freedom, that time, and that money to do what we enjoy, but we find that we're wearing all the hats. So in the Health Marketing Academy, we help you use AI and automation to help speed things up for you, and make it faster and much easier and more fun.
Yeah, awesome.
So that's
Awesome.
healthmarketingacademy.com. And thank
And
you for
I have
having
the link.
me.
Oh, you're welcome. And I got that link right down there in the notes for you if you want to go check out Rachel and see all about if you're a health coach and you need help building your business. She's the person to go and check out. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm going to have you back again because I know we've got more to talk about. So that's it.
That will be wonderful. Thank you so much, Kristen.
Oh, you're welcome.